Yay, so we're live.
Oh my goodness.
Yes,
We're
yes,
live.
yes. Well, okay. First of all, I want to share that this is my little like inspirational little space where I've been bringing and inviting friends so far who have like a story to tell and who are inspiring people. And I wanted to bring you because you popped into my field the other day as I was thinking, oh, who can I chat with that, has these qualities? And you came up. And I would say why in a little bit, but I will let you sort of introduce yourself and just let us know who you are.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. I am quite honored. And as I told you a few minutes ago while we were setting up, I have not thought about this moment until literally 5 minutes ago, right? I said, let's try to have an organic conversation. I was honored when you said, "Hey, Zulu, maybe I can bring you on board my program," because usually, I think us humans usually tend um, to feel have an understanding of who you are, but you don't know who you're attracting, right? In anything, it can be in a friendship, a business, relationship, whatever you want to call it. So I was quite honored, and I said, you know what? Whatever it is that attracted you for us to be here together right now, I'm gonna just let it flow. And so that's why I didn't think until anything until now. So again, my name is Juan Zuluaga. I go by Zulu, and because my last name is Zuluaga. And I'm 40 years old. I've had two huge career changes in my life, and
Yes.
and I am a person that I wake up every morning now feeling um, like a prize, like I won. Like for some reason, I feel very good right now. I'm at a good part of my life, and I think that's why we're here talking, just to see if there's anything that has worked for me that could potentially trigger something in someone else, because that's how my life has been. I've always been a very lucky person, and I've always had what we call, I guess, mentors, and it can be as simple as a friend, a boss, a business partner, a professor that for some reason I've always been able to draw positive things from relationships, clients, and that's what has made me what I am today, feeling very strong.
And I was gonna say that, like you said, I didn't even practice or know what we were coming into. And that's a little bit of what I like about you. The fact that um you just jump you feel like you're a guy that just jumps into things like without being so heady about, like you just go for them. Like it almost feels like you're like, I mean, actually you motorcycle, you race. And
I
that's like,
do.
I think I asked you one time and I was like, aren't you scared? Right?
Yes, and
And you
it's
were like, I love it. Like I was like, okay, well,
and believe it or not, so motorcycles are my passion, and everyone has a different passion, right? And everything points or lets me know that I shouldn't be doing that right now because many reasons. I'm a little older. I'm not 20 years old. I'm a new father. I have a daughter that's 10 months old. Um, I'm in a field where I have to every day interact with people, and I can't afford to be able to let anyone down. My daughter, my life, my family, my clients. So there's many things that tell me like, hey, look, maybe you should hold back on that passion that I have. But I feel that everything in my life, be it my passion, motorcycles, friendships, business. It's what makes me who I am, and makes me want to wake up with energy every day, and just strive to be the best person that I can be. So,
mm,
so I try to not focus on all the things that let me know, like that make me question myself if
mm,
I'm doing the right thing. Like I can get hurt, it's expensive, whatever you want to call it.
yeah.
I try to not focus on that, and I just focus on the positive things, which in this case is it makes me feel strong and young, and that I can achieve a goal that I've had ever since I'm a child. And so it's so motorcycle is a big part of my life. Motorcycle racing, big part of my life,
Yeah.
and I love it.
And I love that because it's like, I know it's, I mean, it could be dangerous. Of course, we own that. we all know that, but also it's like it's behind that. It's like the fact that the rewards are bigger than maybe the fears, and that's what I love. Like when I like that's what inspires me about people, when there's fear involved, but you are still going through that fear, and because you know that behind that there's always something that will reward you. There's always more of yourself that you get to know. There's another part of you that comes out, right? So I like that. I like that about you. But I wanted to first like go back, because I know that you were we will talk where you are now later, but where were you before? Because you were in a different field, a different career, and doing different things, right?
Okay. Yes. All right. So I when I in retrospect, when I look back, or if someone's asking me a question about the present, like what I'm doing right now, why am I happy, how is that working out for me, I feel that the answer is always your past, right? Like everything's a conglomeration of, or an addition of everything that we have gone through, and I've come to the realization that not everything has to be perfect. Sometimes we don't understand why things happen,
Yeah.
but we're all a sum of everything that we have gone through. And I've been very lucky that all my life I have had good people in front of me. It doesn't matter if it was like when I was in high school, when I was in the military, when I was in the FBI, or now. Like I felt that life has put the right people in front of me. And maybe it's a way for me to stay positive, that I feel like whoever's in front of me at that time is giving me a good lesson, right? Even because at the time, maybe it doesn't look like it, but
Yeah.
all these things have been able to put me in the right position. And, I'll tell you a little bit about, I guess, my past. Even though I was born here in Miami, I moved at a young age to Colombia, South America. And I went to school there. And let's say, I'm certain that whenever everyone's growing up, when you're a teenager, most times you feel that you're in a really good position, right? You don't have, life isn't expecting too much things out of you, you're learning.
Yeah.
But I realized at a young age that I needed a change for many reasons. Not only was the country going through a very rough time, but I understood that I was not ready to embark on my next task, right? Like there's something telling me that I still needed to discover myself a little bit more. And very young, when I was 15 years old, I realized that I wanted to join the military. And I came and spoke to a recruiter and figured out what I had to do. And I graduated when I was 17 years old from high school. And immediately, a month later, I had already taken all my tests and everything. And I joined the military as a very young man. And all that, super scary. And that's what first started my journey of going into something uncertain, right? Because you're a teenager, and I moved different countries. My parents had stayed behind. Growing up, I was speaking Spanish the whole time. So even though I knew English, I was completely outside my comfort zone. And at that point, like I said, I have to thank my parents for, first of all, allowing me to do that. You're letting your child like go out in the world and do their things, and all my friends that backed me up, and everybody that had something to play with. I felt strong enough to where I took that step, that big leap that I don't even, looking back, I'm like, wow, I cannot believe that everything worked out. But I embarked in that adventure, and it worked out great. Like I look back, and even though at certain times it was very tough, because when I joined the military in 1998, March of 1998, there was no war, right? Like everything was completely different. The U.S. had ended the Cold War. Like we were in a peaceful time, so things were much fun, I guess, back then. Like I remember the work that I had to do. Sometimes, we would go to Europe, and it was fun. And then all of a sudden, 9/11 happened, and things changed abruptly. And so then I went from, having a very stable military career where I was going to college and enjoying, I guess, of what I had in front of me, to where like, hey, look, now you got to go to Afghanistan for an extended period of time. And at that point, at first, there was something, my loyalty and allegiance and patriotism, like I was all for it. But it extended for quite some time to where I didn't feel that comfortable with the course my life was taking. But deep down inside, I knew that that I was following what I thought was the course of my life, of what I needed to do in order to be able to get to the next step. So at that point, I was living a life where you are following a checklist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thinking like whenever I'm an adult, an adult,
Yeah.
thinking that I have to do something now to get to a certain plan, a point B. And little by little, now that I look back in retrospect, even though I'm only 40 years old, I can always dissect my life in certain segments and think like, okay, how was I thinking back then? And how did I learn from it? And how has it helped me to be where I'm at today? So at that point, I was on cruise control, basically. I was like, hey, look, I just have to finish working 20 years for the government to be able to, my focus at that point was not only feeling good about myself, but just getting a pension. And then I was like, you know what, if I want to start my life again when I'm 38 years old, then so be it. So that was my main concern. Whenever the fun and and my will to do what I was doing kind of like got distracted a little bit, I was like, okay, the bigger purpose of this is to be able to get to point B, which was retirement. And then I'll realize, I'll see what I can do with my life at that point, right?
Yeah. Did that
And
work out exactly as you planned it, like that?
no, it did not, because this is a little tough to say, but you know what? We're open. There was a time, I remember there was one time where it was actually, 2005, this time of the year. Since I was from my squadron when I was in the military, one of the only people that didn't have children. So obviously during Christmas time, they would, I was the one doing the deployments during that time, kind of helping out all my other squadron members, because they have a family, they want to be with their family. So if there's a,
Yeah.
I was let's say I was the prime candidate to be deployed during those times. And I just remember it was a New Year's Eve where it was extremely a very tough mission for me. And I just remember feeling how can I put it? Not feeling comfortable with what I was doing, like what the course my life was taking. But deep down inside, my survival instinct said, just truck through this, because something better will come. So at that point, things were not in my control, right? Like I was just kind of letting destiny take over. And but I wasn't feeling 100% comfortable with my life at that point. And when I'm saying my life, is that with all the decisions that I was making. A really quick pause. Are you hearing echo with my or can you hear me just fine?
I can hear you fine, but I think my computer, I have a little bit of a audio problem in my computer, but I don't know if I think it's just me.
Okay.
But do you hear it? Do you hear echo?
I was hearing a little
Maybe
echo.
If somebody's watching, they can tell us.
I did have someone actually send me a message saying to lower my volume because they were hearing my echo. But
Really?
anywho, back to our conversation. And the reason why I'm giving you these details of how I was feeling is not, it's to just in case someone else is listening out there, to let you know that it's never okay to, or it's not normal, at least for me, it was not normal to feel comfortable. Like I every time I was taking a step, I was always wondering, am I doing the right thing? And but at the end, like I said, I was focused on my mission, which at that point was, again, just finishing the goal that I had set from day one, and do 20 years with the government, and then see what else was out there if I needed, for a change. And as I mentioned, I did work altogether 20 years for the government, but during 2 times, actually 3 times, including when I was young and I left Colombia by choice, with the help of obviously my family and everything else. But 3 major changes that just literally, it felt like the rug was pulled under me. So one, very young age, is leaving a country where I just felt very comfortable. I had a healthy relationship, all my friends, my family. Then, when I joined the military and I got to where I wanted to, I actually, like I said, I was able to finish college. I became a flyer. And that's one thing that I do. Like I said, there are many things that were very influential. Like I loved wearing a flight suit, like I just remember when I had second guesses of what I was doing, I was like, every time I shipped up, I was like, you know what? I'm at where I'm at. So I would find certain cues that would give me the energy to keep going. But deep down inside, and I'm sure a lot of people go through this, I always question myself. I'm like, do I feel 100% happy with the decisions that I've made and what life is giving to me at that point. And and out of all the big changes that I've had in my life, only the first one I felt that I was almost in 100% control. All the other ones I felt like the rug was pulled under me because either a physical condition or a technicality would tell me that I had to switch careers abruptly, right?
Yeah.
But everything has worked out perfect, and I've
So
always.
when did that happen? Like, when did you like switch everything and decided to flip your life like 180, like you told me, and now
So
you are who you
remember,
are?
so the first step was the voice inside your head, right, telling you, do I feel that I am fulfilling the what I feel my life should be, right? And I
Yeah.
think that part of life is always questioning in a positive way and just trying to do the best with what you have, and be the you hear this phrase all the time, like being my best self, right? Which is true. You should try to be the best that you can be.
I feel
And
like that a part of like when you're constantly questioning. I mean, for me, it's like it's an important part of everything, because when you're openly questioning, like it's like you're bringing in like new energies and new answers to your life
Mhm.
constantly, right? There's
Correct.
actually a lot of people that don't ever question anything like this.
Correct. But it's important also to not leave that door open. And it's funny, I'm talking. What I love about this is that I feel comfortable letting you know about these things, because it's not like I think about this often, right? It's just that as we're talking, certain cues get hit, and I'm like, you know what? This is an aha moment for me, because what you just mentioned, that you should always question and just leave doors open, but it's important to also have a clear north, because
Yes.
it's easy. I'll give you an example. In my current career, fast forwarding, until now, I do have the way for me to reach people is what we're doing right now, right? Social media, just technology itself is a direct way for me to connect with, to attract people that we have like good synergy, and to start business ventures, right? Or to just talk to people and see where they need to go in the world of real estate. So so I do get especially with this pandemic, right? With these uncertain times that are times, kind of like I told you, that the rug has been pulled under me a few
Yeah.
times in my life. This is a time where basically a lot of people have been challenged, right? Just because of the current circumstances. So I have had many nice souls reach out to me, and just, first of all, tell me something positive. And they're like, hey, look, we would want to, we see that this is working for you. So they're attracted to that, right? And it's very important to just understand, like, when you're questioning yourself, what is the drive? And it's important to know what should not be, not what, okay, so not what should, but what are drives that could be fulfilled, but they're not, at the end of the day, filling your deep down desires, like what's in your
Yeah.
head. Like, it doesn't matter what you our minds and our souls are so strong that I realize that many times we think we know what they need in order to be able to satisfy that desire, or that mind that's thinking the whole time, like, I should change careers, I should do more, I should do less, I should have more time, or find something that's going to compensate me better. But at the end of the day, that answer, we have to be what I realized, that we have to be very honest with ourselves and realize what is going to make you that better person, that best self, and really try to strive for that. And everything else, in my scenario, has followed suit, and is what makes me wake up happy every day.
I feel like that's very important, because I mean, yes, you should question and be in constant question of what's going on. Are you fulfilled? Am I happy? Is this good for me? Right? But what you
Mm-hmm.
said is absolutely true, because we have to have some sort of like, what is driving you? Like, are you being driven by fear? Are you being driven by a true passion, desire? And it's more like having this clear vision of what you want at the end of the day. Like, what is it that you want to create?
Mm-hmm.
um like, where are you heading, right? Because you're
Mm-hmm.
right, like when you leave too many doors open, then you can easily like kind of like sway away, like find yourself in situations where like, oh, I didn't mean to be here, but then you weren't clear, with what your end goal, or at least not necessarily knowing exactly how it's going to look like, but
Mm-hmm.
knowing that type of feeling that you want to be in, what you want
Mm-hmm.
to create in your life.
That is correct. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So yes, so to go back, now a few steps back, um, I have never, it's been super tough, and I'll give you, just from my situation, just the quick things or pointers that perhaps someone that is thinking about making a big change in their life can be like, you know what, that kind of resonates with me. So uh, when I uh, when I left the military, it was very tough because again I had envisioned myself being there for 20 years, and I did 10 years, and because of a physical condition, an accident that I was in, that was cut short. So so anyhow, I was like, you know what, this is the end of. For some reason, I got into a depression. You know what? That's also a term very loosely used, but that's what it was. It was depression, and I was like, what am I going to do with my life now? Simple questions, as simple as
Yeah.
paying my bills. Everyone's already at this stage of their life, and I feel like I'm digressing. You name it. And
Mm.
and if there's something specific that that you or anyone would want to ask, even offline, I'm always open to be able to answer those things because it's
He's a
always
natural
nice to.
coach, by the way.
I'm sorry.
He said you're a natural coach. You
Okay,
are.
so to one of the reasons why whenever you said, hey Zulu, would you be up for doing this? And I said, you know what, 300% is because I I'm shy. I feel like I'm a shy. Like this is not my
I'm
comfort
gonna put your
zone.
Instagram there.
This is not my comfort zone to be speaking about me, right? Like, yeah, I can talk to myself about me, or or to my wife, but other than that, it's kind of like scary putting yourself out there, right? But
Mhm.
I feel that at some point, if someone feels that there's anything that they can gain from my past experiences or anything that I can help with, I'm all for it. And as a matter of fact, fast forwarding to nowadays, the reason where I'm in the field that I'm at is because of what I just mentioned. I feel that I can start a relationship with someone, a business venture or coaching of how in my world, the real estate world, of where they can go, how they can get there. It's coaching, I guess, in a word, from past experiences, from seeing what has worked for me, and seeing how I can come from value. And then whenever I hear that someone actually took that in, and they tell me, Zulu, look, this worked out well. Thank you so much. It was a home run. Then that's what keeps me motivated and smiling every morning. Like I said, and it took me a long
Yeah.
time to get
And
here. Mm-hmm.
And if you want proof of that, people can just go to Instagram and watch your stories. I'm curious about something because it's not easy to put yourself out there like on social media. It's not like
It is not.
you're
Yes.
you're prone to judgment. You're prone to
Mm-hmm.
people like thinking like even yourself sometimes like what am I doing? Like what like but you're such a natural, and like you're coming from the military, which I can assume was a very structured world, and then you're here on social media doing these awesome stories. They're always funny, they're always very positive. I enjoy them a lot, but you actually give a lot of information and a lot of value in your field. Was that hard, or was that just like, "Oh, this is
Okay,
cool"?
so I'm glad it's funny. Like, look, these sessions, this is cool because there's certain things I'm like, oh man, that's so nice that you see things that way, because genuinely that's how I try to portray my ventures, right? My everyday life in the field that I'm in. Um, yes, it's super tough to not be judged, and just what you mentioned, I have had that feedback, and even from people that I care, that tell me like simple things as you're putting your life out there, and but I'm okay with it. You know what? I got to the point where it feels natural. I feel comfortable sharing, my everyday life, and I feel that that's a good way to attract people. people that are radiating the same energy that I am, right? You put it in layman's terms. So,
Yeah. One.
and I try to, and I try to come from, to amuse myself, because at the end of the day, it's a job, and I'm sure we all would want to be on vacation, right? but we need to have a job. So I try to make fun out of it, and I try to make it interesting in what I do in my world, and it has worked, because it does touch a lot of people, and they reach out to me, and it's very organic, and that's it's also a term that we use, or that we hear a lot today. But you know what? It represents exactly what I want to attract, and what I feel, and how I do things organically. Like, I don't think too much
Yeah.
of what is this going to bring, or what is it not, or what's someone going to think about me. I just try to be spontaneous, and have fun with it. And that's one of the other reasons why I said I can tell everyone that I wake up a happy man. And let me also tell you one thing. When I say I wake up happy every day, it doesn't mean that everything is, fine and dandy and hoo hoo ha ha. I have, worries like everyone else, right? And I do have, whatever you want to call it, bills to pay, people to answer, et cetera, et cetera. And some of that people that I have to answer to is myself. And, my
Yeah.
daughter that's 10 months old, that I will have to, at some point, I'm sure she'll probably look back on my Instagram and be like, hey, Dad, what were you doing here?
Like,
And I'll be
Dad,
like,
what were you
okay. Yeah. But the neat thing is that I won't have to think about it. I just remember, because everything's so spontaneous. Okay, I remember that I was up in this roof, or when I was doing this, or when I was going with this person, or going here. So I feel comfortable with everything that I am doing. And that's what allows me to in the mornings, kind of feel like light, right? Because there was a time in my life where I didn't feel too light. And it's not because I was doing the wrong things, but I just knew that my main goal was not tied directly to how to the best potential.
I think I lost you, Zulu.
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So it wasn't tied to my best self, to the potential of
Okay, something is going on with my. I don't know if it's me or it's you. Um, Zulu, I lost you. I can't hear you. Um, I can't hear you. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if it's me or if it's you. Oh, I lost them. Damn it. All right. Anyways, I lost Zulu, but thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Maybe he'll jump back in and we'll continue for the last part. But other than that, if you want to connect with Zulu, he's an amazing real estate agent in Miami, in South Florida. He's killing it back there. He is killing it. And he actually I have worked with him other than being a friend. And I can tell you that I couldn't have done what I did by selling my house back in Miami, being here in Sweden. And he was always the most positive person all the time. I was like, how I'm a coach, I'm a healer, I do all the work. And here's Zulu telling me and, giving me all this, like, I think he's getting back, being so positive all the time. Oh, he's back. Zulu, you back?
You know what? Again, it's my fault. I'm using my phone to because I recently moved, and I moved 3 days ago, so I don't have my computer up.
No worries. Oh man. It's not working. So
Can you hear me?
yeah, I don't know why it cuts off. Okay, go.
No,
I
no,
was just
it's my
giving you.
fault. It's my fault. I said I recently moved.
Yeah,
So I moved 3 days ago. So that's why still everything's a mess, and I'm using my phone. So I'm having to use and I'm getting like someone calling me, and anyhow, my apologies.
no worries. I was just praising you and just being like, Zulu is like the most positive like person. You sold my house back in Miami. I was here in Sweden. I was like half the time I was like worried, and like I was here, I couldn't go, and all the time you were always like we're gonna make this, we're gonna do this, it's happening, don't worry, keep going. And you were like just always so positive and so cheering that you know, I couldn't have done it without, you know, your help. So you
Thank
obviously
you.
looks and I know that you're enjoying what you're doing, because somebody doesn't love what they're doing and not having fun with it wouldn't have the attitude and the mindset that you have.
Mm.
So
And I appreciate it. And look, this is what I live for. I'm sure everybody loves compliments, but whenever I feel that they're heartfelt, and I feel the same way, because I always have to thank everyone that gives me a chance, because I feel that they pick me out of the 7 million people that are out there, right? Or out of the 50,000 people that are work my same field, that are realtors here in Miami. So I always feel special. That's something that I never take lightly. And that's why when someone picks me, I'm like, you know what? I have to be the best that I can be to be able to deliver. And it's just it's the balance of the relationship, right? And
and you
also
do
you
it
just
and
mentioned
you
one thing.
100% do it.
And
Yeah.
you just mentioned something that also I wanted to talk about. One of the things that gets me going like stronger is that you just mentioned that you feel that I'm always positive. And I will tell you this, that's not natural. I don't, and I don't feel, you know, I don't want to say this, but like, it's not, you know, I have the same questions that a lot of people that maybe they feel that they're not positive have, you know, again, we talked about them lightly earlier, like having bills, having issues with a friend, family, uncertainty, all those things loom my mind, right? But I find things that give me motivation to the point where it surpasses all those other things. And part of that is that I was able to move on past a lot of uncertainties. And one uncertainty was, for example, you know, when I switched careers from the FBI to real estate. Hey, how am I going to reinvent myself, um, being a 40-year old, right? You know, so all those, imagine everything that goes with that. And I took these steps, and it's funny because I look back. One of the cool things about social media is that it gives you history or flashbacks of things that you have done in the past, right?
Yeah.
So like I
It's
remember, so
reminding
recently I
you
got like the
constantly.
2 year or 3 year anniversary for my wedding, right? And I was like, look, this is hard to think that I took all those steps during times of uncertainty, right? That usually everybody, like, let's say when you're going to have a child, right? You have like a checklist, like I need to have this job, I need to be this and be that. But a lot of the things that I've done in my adult life, I've kind of taken that checklist and just thrown it out the window, not carelessly, but just kind of like being positive that everything, that everybody that's in my life, that the way that I handle things and how I try to be a good person will help me get to the point B, right? So either be changing careers, having a child, getting married, going into a different venture, all these things. They were not easy. Not, don't think for a second that I was in a comfort zone, like, oh yeah, I can just do this. No, it was like 180, like the rug being pulled.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do this. But again, at the end of the day, I was focused that my main mission, I found out what was it that worked for me. And I really, and I guess if I have to explain it in 2 words or in a few words, is I love, I love contribution. You know, and when I'm saying contribution, like let's say if you and I were talking right now, you're empowering me to feel good about certain things. And somehow, if I give you that vibe and I know that we're talking the same language, like, hey, look, I'm empowering you by giving you pointers of things that I feel that you're doing right and how you're helping other people. And I'm doing the same, that I know that I'm in the right path, and everything else kind of follows suit. You know, and literally, and if you want to put it into terms, everything falls into suit as far as like me getting the freedom that I think I need, monetary gains, attracting the right people, and knowing that I'm in the right path. Not looking back, be like, I should have done this, or why did I not do that, or you know, I should have done this differently. No, it's focusing on the target and just feeling good with myself, and everything else follows suit.
I love it. I love it because what you said is true. It's like when I say you're positive, it's because obviously it's because what I'm seeing in your social media. But of course, I know that it's not all the time. And also, I think that's like that's how it is. Like people are that always high energy and jumping up and down, but it's that like part of it's us going over those moments and getting to the other side, right? And kind of like making it out to the other side that counts, because we're all gonna have shit, bills, worries and all of that. But are you gonna stay stuck in them, or are you
Yes.
actually going to make it to the other side? And that's what counts,
Hmm.
because the pandemic or whatever, it's gonna keep going on. Who knows? It doesn't matter. But that type of mindset and attitude is what's probably gonna propel you to the next level, regardless of whatever is going on right now. So I
Hmm.
wanted to ask you, just to like wrap things up a little bit, like, because I know that right now it's like, I guess, one of the biggest, most uncertain years we've ever had.
Hmm.
People have lost jobs. At the same time, some people are like doing amazing. I mean, there's like a lot of different levels, I think, of where you can be, but we can definitely agree that our uncertainty has been like key, right? So what would you
Hmm.
say to somebody that's in that position, like they don't know if they're gonna succeed in another job, they're about to change careers? Because I feel like there's a lot of people at this moment changing ways because you
Hmm.
can no longer do the same thing that you were doing.
Correct. Okay. Awesome question. I feel, in short, that this time has given people, has been the rug pull under them, right? Just like I told you, 3 times I have had to change my life 180, and I felt that I needed that push, because maybe if I didn't have the push, I would not have done it. So
Yeah.
this time is the time for everyone to be questioning themselves. Well, past, I'm talking past, like the last 10 months, they thought they had time to think like, am I in the right spot?
Yeah.
Am I doing the right thing to make myself wake up happy in the morning? And how far I can go, right? Like, let's say right now, certain people, let's say they've taken a pay cut, or even their job, they got furloughed, right? Or so they can probably, on a positive note, think like, okay, I'm still here. What do I need to do? And all these are tools or circumstances that are putting you in a position to know that you are stronger than you think, because you've been able
Mhm.
to survive rough times, or you're in a position to, you know what, I'm still, it's tough, but I'm just going to be tougher than the situation and take the chances and the risk.
Yeah.
Obviously, bringing your head with you. There's this term that I've heard before that my wife says. As a matter of fact, it's on her Facebook. It's she's got her name, and it says, "Follow your heart, but bring your head with you." That is very
Yeah,
important,
I see it on
because you
her
have
on
to
her social.
always, yeah, be in. So be in touch, know yourself, be strong enough to where you know yourself, and not, you don't have to be certain to take those leaps and those different steps, but know that if you're not comfortable, it's not normal to be comfortable, but if there's something deep down inside telling you, let me make a switch in a career, then it's the time to do it. And also, find mentors. Just like I told you, I've had different
Yeah.
mentors in my life, and a mentor is not like, I have this sidekick or this guy. No, like I said, it could have been a boss, it could have been a friend, it could have been a girlfriend, it could be someone that I follow online, and which in my case, all the examples I gave you were mentors at
Yeah.
some point in my life. From
Yeah.
a boss, a friend, a relationship, or even someone that I followed on the platform we're using right now on YouTube. I'm like,
Exactly.
um, like someone as simple as, and this is a very mundane thing, but anyhow, so I would get, positive things from people, and I was like, you know what, this is the type of life that I want to live, and I would just take one step at a time, and but whenever I decide to take that first step, then you have to quickly go from crawling to running. And so yeah, so in short, find have a game plan, and you can set up a path, have that vision, by, again, not having certainty in all these things, but just knowing that there's something deep down inside telling you, hey, look, I can better myself by um, switching careers, or just following whatever your heart is really telling you that you're good at. In my case, again, I love compliments, and I love complimenting people. And when I know it is real, I just know that I'm doing the right thing. And in turn, what I'm doing it's everything's coming together, right? I said I come from contribution. People trust me. I work my hardest, and at the end of the day, everything follows suit. From being compensated, the freedom, knowing that I'm growing as a person, giving an example to my daughter, and even to other people. So that's what worked for me, and what I think that these times are
Awesome.
definitely good times for everyone to like see what they're made out of.
It's absolutely true. And I love it. I love it. So get mentored, find people online. There's a lot of resources right now to get inspired, get motivated. Sometimes you don't have it in the motivation in that moment, but when you can watch a video, you can get pumped up with energy, have a clear plan, right? Have a clear vision, and then stay strong. Keep that mindset that you're stronger than your mind, and you're stronger than the situation. You're stronger than the
Yes.
pandemic. You're stronger than anything. Have that trust and faith and follow your heart. So I love that. I love that, Sulu. Thank you. Thank you so much for agreeing to chat with me. That was awesome. I put your Instagram here. If anybody wants to follow you on Instagram, he has always very happy, funny stories about real estate in Miami, actually. So if you're interested in that, have a look. And yeah, and so thank you, Sulu, for coming up. And if
No,
anything
thank
else that you
you.
want
And
to say to finish.
no, and you know what? I wanted to thank you, and also for anybody that is tuning in 2 seconds, I want to tell you how I feel about you. You were
My
a
time.
person that you decided to go outside your comfort zone. And for many people, you're in Sweden right now, right?
Mhm.
You're okay. So you had your comfortable life here in Miami. You had a beautiful house. You enjoyed everything that Miami has to offer, which to me is my favorite city in the world. But you decided to a spark, something told you deep down inside that there was something else out there, and I feel that you went outside your comfort zone. Even when you moved to Sweden, you kept your residence here because we rented your house
I
because you
didn't want
weren't
to let it
ready to
go.
let go. You did, and so all these things we haven't talked about this, but these are things that I came to realize. I'm like, look, Fiore literally just set herself free, and she said, you know what? This is what I believe in. Your breath work, your manai, all these things, and you said, you know what? There's only one way to do it, and it's all in. So that's what we all need to do: realize what our path is and go all in, all in.
Dude, that is
So
so true. It
thank
was
you for
literally
also
I had like
inspiring.
one step, one foot over there and one foot here, and it was like driving me nuts. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. Either I'm here or I'm there. I can't just be
Mhm.
all over the place. That's
Exactly.
exactly
When
what
when
it is.
you're leaving
All
that
in.
safe card, when you're leaving that safety net in your
Yeah.
mind, and this can be translated to anything. Let's say you have a side gig, right? Let's say you're I don't know, you work at a bank, and then you're like, well, on the side, I don't know, I'm selling something online. So deep down inside, you don't want to leave a comfort zone or whatever you feel is right, because so you're leaving that gray area, and that's what you were doing. I think you're like, if everything fails here, I'll go back. And you know what? When you decide to take a route, there's no looking back. You just go full throttle, and that's what you did. And thank you for inspiring.
Yeah, yeah, no, thank you, thank you. And it hasn't been easy, but like you said, it's one step at a time and just moving forward. And actually Sweden has been amazing. So I mean, it's not a bad place to live. So I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful that I did. And I'm very grateful that you got to sell my beautiful house and found beautiful people to live in it. So it's all good. It all worked
Yes.
out. All right, Sulu, thank you so much. And thank you guys for watching. And I hope that you got awesome insights from this conversation. And we'll be tuning in. And you can follow Sulu here on his Instagram for more positive stories in real estate in Miami adventures. Thank
Thank
you,
you. Thank you.
Sulu.
Everyone have a great one, and we'll see each other soon. And if you have any questions,
Yes.
I said send me a message. I'm an open book.
Bye,
Okay.
guys.
Bye, guys. Bye, bye. Ciao, ciao.